一位遣使会神父，他是阿根廷人，到马达加斯加是吗？那个非洲那个岛在那边服务，然后他也那是不头称的，对修士们的。后来他看到了那么多人在垃圾山生活，所以他感动了，他去那个地方为他们服务。第一次的时候被拒绝，因为那些兄弟姐妹们已经习惯这样的生活。后来他慢慢改变了，就是他们那边有石头，做了垃圾山也石头山，所以用这个石头，他们告诉这些人，我们可以改变我们的生活，把这个石头变成以后的钱。然后在他们的房子在垃圾上面变成有自己的房子，他们轮流盖房子，然后这个他后来很成功。如果我们等一下会看到他的弥撒，每一个主日会1万多人，因为那个村蛮多的，所以我们会感动他那些穷人真的对天主后来也改变，他离开他的垃圾山，真的好好过生活。
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. Antananarivo, the capital of Madagascar. The upper part of the city, perched on the hills, is the residential area of the rich. In the lower part, often flooded during the rainy period, famine and epidemics rage. Skin diseases, malaria, and tuberculosis are on the march. These people, driven to the edge of society and the human race, vegetate from day to day. 7-member families are killed by epidemics. A 50-year-old Slovene-Argentinian, Father Pedro, is known to all Madagascans. He is celebrated in verse and can even perform miracles. As Mother Teresa had once done, Pedro too has grown into the hearts of those living on the far edge of society. He has received the highest international awards and is one of the most likely candidates for the Nobel Prize. Tana, a dump site. Refuse thrown away by the human race. Hell itself. People rummage about looking for something to eat. Scorching heat, horrible stench. Poverty on every step. As much as about 300 tons of waste are discarded every day. As soon as refuse is emptied from the trucks, people plunge into what has remained from civilization. Garbage people. They are looking for leftovers and things they can still find use for. For many, this is how they get some food. Children of the garbage people are only children. Nothing more and nothing less. They are not angels, criminals, scum, or inferior people. They are only youngsters with a natural desire to be loved, caressed, and sheltered. The weakest link in the chain of people struggling for survival. They have been deprived of their childhood and washed up in the garbage, dressed only in colorless, shabby clothes and left to their own devices. When a white man, Pedro Opeka, first came to the dump site, they greeted him with a smile and explained to him that this was where they had lived all their lives, where they made love, gave birth to their children, and died. For this sturdy, bearded Slovene, who looked like a character from Jack London's novels, Tana presented a challenge of a lifetime.
Instead of sending them to school, parents send their small ones to the dump site. These children are victims of poverty and an unjust economy, which has no ear for equal opportunities. As a result, children suffer first. Regrettably, some of them don't go to school. Millie, for example, is 10, and Jean-Baptiste is a year older. Odila here is 12. 2 years ago, she used to rummage about in the garbage. Now she goes to school.
Children are like roses. God can grow roses in the dump site as well, says Opeka. They bloom at school. Only optimists work miracles. About 8,500 boys and girls aged 3 to 18 years are educated at the institutions of Pedro Opeka's association. Madagascar is an island of the young. More than half of its inhabitants are younger than 20 years. Although children have to be educated, more than 50% don't see the inside of the school, and more than 80% live on the brink of starvation.
These children are like angels. It is not their fault they were born in the dump site. Somebody needs to help them. It is not God's desire to see the innocent ones completely deprived of human existence and progress.
All languages are worth preserving, and the Madagascan and Slovene languages are no exception. Do you know that you are only worth as much as the number of languages you speak?
We love each other. Also, Madagascans sing in Slovene.
As soon as they are born, there is some inborn happiness within them. They are not used to material goods. Their devotion is to life, and although their basic needs are not met, they are happy.
Children enjoy going to school as they feel it will educate them for life and show them a way out of their misery. Part of the training at Opeka's institution is also to get them accustomed to work. A child is the weakest link of a society. If nobody lends him a helping hand, he won't be able to learn true values. At school, a youth is educated, he's got a goal and respect for human values. These children are living the values. It is the spirit that makes a man, and if we forget its strength, we forget everything. Father Pedro is aware of that, and instead of leaving this young generation halfway through their education, he wants to be there all the way. The new millennium has the technology and the money available to fight poverty. One only has to have the will to fight it, says the man who doesn't only speak the words, but also acts upon them. He rolls up his sleeves and sets off to work.
Et c'est là l'autre côté. Voilà ce que disent les scientifiques. Et le médecin fait une opération. La vision scientifique de l'homme, c'est la matière palpable.
Father Pedro motivates the children to join him in meditation, from which they draw spiritual strength to encounter life. Every evening, at least 150 boys and girls voice their prayers that are full of life.
Personally, I believe it is the power of prayer. It is Jesus Christ himself that gives me the strength to fight these difficult conditions. Everything I do should be a reflection of his will. 2,000 years ago, he sacrificed himself for all mankind. I want to follow in his footsteps, and if I succeed in doing so, then the others and the Maker will tell me once I meet him. Today and every day, I want to live like he did, according to his principles. And I want to pass on his belief, this enthusiasm to the children, not only by teaching it, but actually living it.
To navdušenje hočem danes jaz tudi tem otrokom posredovati. Z besedo, še posebej pa z zgledom, življenjem, vsakdanjim življenjem.
He was 22 when he first came to the island. When I saw the misery of these people, it almost tore my heart apart, says Father Opeka. This is injustice. He couldn't look the other way, and he didn't. Although he was penniless himself, he thought, God's justice is on our side. If man's salvation is in question, one cannot stay indifferent. He believed that a mission station should be the house of people. Father Pedro thought that many Gospels overemphasize what one should not do, or God would punish them. How little they are human, and how little we are sometimes man. If I were hungry, he says, I'd be grateful if somebody gave me a slice of bread, or some clothes, or if someone helped me if I were ill. I would be happy. Therefore, I need to help others. Christian faith is love. None of them chose to be born here. Someone needs to lend them a helping hand. If you honestly decide to help with love and respect for these people, then you can save them from misery. The government has written these people and their problems off, but Pedro Opeka didn't just idly stand there. He's established Akamasu, a humanitarian association, which means good friends. Joined hands and strong will can move mountains. Even modest means, if they're put to good use, can help. Father Pedro is trying to make state authorities realize that many social problems can be solved this way. With his help, the poorest of the poor have founded their own business that provides 1,200 Madagascans with work in the quarry. The work is hard, but the pay is regular. Garbage people have thus found their first jobs. From dusk till dawn, men and women are cutting stone with the simplest of tools. Stones are crushed for food and modest but regular pay. Many people have experienced a rebirth with this self-aid project. Numerous families have got on their feet again. What is more, they can see now what they are capable of, and they take great pride in it. They work hard and earn their daily bread with the sweat of their brow. Human dignity arising from work and pay had to be restored back to them. Opeka doesn't want alms that would rock the foundation of these people's dignity even more or turn them into worse characters. On the contrary, he helps them by providing work for them. To young people working in the workshops, Father Pedro is offering a new life that will eventually save them. In this world, Anima Su employs 5,000 staff and thousands are waiting to be on their list. Good education is the best inheritance a grown-up can pass on to his child. Parents feel that children who go to school and work in the Anima Su workshops are among the privileged ones. Their clothes might not be as expensive as those worn by the rich, but their education is better because the teachers at Anima Su work with love and devotion. Father Pedro has received a number of international awards. He believes they are recognition to each and every garbage man who has fought his way out of the dump. I'm only an instrument in God's hands. This strength is not my own. Everybody has it, for God has given it to everyone. We just don't want to use it because we are too idle, and that's why we are losing it, he says. Pedro Opeka doesn't want any gifts or alms. For him, having equal opportunities doesn't mean giving everybody a cup of rice, but finding jobs for the unemployed. The best way to fight poverty is to provide work. Only so can social security and stability be secured. Hard work in rice paddies or quarries gives the unemployed an opportunity to rise on the social scale. Monetary aid for people sitting in cardboard digs with often no self-confidence or self-respect surely can't be the answer.
Each individual has God's Spirit inside him, and as long as man lives, so does the Spirit. We, the fortunate ones, who are not in need, who have been to schools and have professions, are obliged to help these people. Not to work for them or give them alms. This is about justice. No man should apologize for not helping others, because we can all help, each in his own way, wherever we are.
Ne da bi delali v njihovem imenu, ne da bi delili miloščino. To se gre za pravičnost. In tukaj noben človek se ne bi smel opravičevati, zakaj to ne dela. Vsi to lahko delamo, vsak na svoj način, kjerkoli živi.
Rice for the working. Every day, children get a bowl of rice, so Father Pedro has to provide 10 tons of rice every week. He has made a promise that he would knock on the doors and hearts of people around the world if necessary. 2,800 children go to people's school and grammar school in Adrenalitra. Akamosu, however, provides for more than 10,000 children. When the head of the mission office from Carinthia, Austria, Joseph Kopeinig, and Lazarus Opeka met, the idea of building a Corinthian village on the island in the Indian Ocean came to life. The Afro-European connection turned into a big-scale action. Many people offered to help, from Slavko Alsanik, a famous musician, to another big band Nakalm, and students and teachers from Carinthia. A Corinthian village so far away on the Red Island? An impossible idea? Much too expensive? Those who thought so were terribly wrong. A euro from Carinthia is worth 20 times more on Madagascar, the island in the fourth world, than at home. 4,000 euro built a house, and 20 euro covers a school's tuition for a year. In 1 year, people from Corinthia donated funds for 53 houses. The goal is to build 100 of them and a hospital which is badly needed. While we were shooting this documentary, 7 people died in the wooden barracks. Among them, 2 mothers of 5 and 8 children respectively. Every year when the rains come, cholera and the plague are imminent. Medication is a luxury. Each individual can actively fight poverty, says Pedro Opeka, a high school graduate who is also a Mason. We shouldn't only watch TV and follow how many children suffer from famine worldwide. We watch, but we can and must help. I'm not forcing anyone. Who doesn't feel the compassion for other people is morally obliged to do so.
Love which is there for others to see and was given to get some recognition fades away quickly. Love, however, which is not selfish, which is manifested in a free, discreet, and even invisible gift, is a true one. Such a person will always insist on helping someone in need.
Ta ljubezen, ta človek bo usmerjen ustrajal pomagati svojemu bratu v stiski.
You've lost what you haven't given, says Father Pedro. If you've got talent, charisma, and values and have kept them to yourself, then you've lost them. You shouldn't keep everything that was given to you, but share this with others and give. For when you start to gather up and acquire possessions, your luck and talent will be gone. Opeka is one of the most likely candidates for the Nobel Prize. This will be an award to all those children who are fighting to survive, who move on in their lives, and to all the parents who labor in the quarry. 7 days for €7. Last but not least, this will be an award to all those good-hearted people who are ready to share. People from Corinthia are fantastic, says Opeka.
We want to build a well-planned Corinthian village with paths, pavements, sewer systems, streets, and a plot of land for each family. We can't let this village be half-finished. We want that everybody from Corinthia, especially the donators, takes great pride in what is built. Something beautiful is being done for these poor people.
Da bodo vsak Korošec daroval za to vas, da bo ponosen, da smo nekaj lepega naredili za revne ljudi.
Sunday Mass is a special event. At least 5,000 people come to listen to the sermon. If the Christians put half of their promises into practice, there would be much less people living in poverty and more light and love. While other missionaries on Madagascar put up magnificent churches, Father Opeka, Nomen est Omen, constructs houses for the poor. He is proud that his church is in a big gym where children free their minds and play during the week. Children of the dump are Akamasu's future. They are turning into apostles themselves. That's why we can't afford not to finish the work, says Opeka. Sport played an important role for the now 54-year-old Opeka. It is irrelevant where you are from or what nationality or minority you belong to. If you perform well, everybody respects you. You use your knowledge, talent, and charisma. The color of your skin and money are irrelevant. He who is disciplined and persistent will succeed. Families are falling apart. Poverty makes people worse. Solidarity is practically non-existent. Father Pedro and his colleagues cannot help everybody who comes into the reception centers of Anamasu. The story is almost always the same.
This lady comes from about 150 kilometers from the capital, where her husband has left her 3 months ago. They had sold all their possessions, a miniature plot of land and chickens, and moved to the capital to give their children a better life. But when they reached Tana, her husband took all their money and disappeared. When you see these children, their faces, their natural goodness, how can you not help them? How could we say to this family to go back to the street? I am convinced God doesn't abandon such families, and we need to help them because we are human.
Their dignity has been trampled on. For Pedro Opeka, it is the first and foremost task to help these people driven to the edge of society, to give them more self-respect through a gradual process and teach them fundamental human values.
We fight poverty with our bare hands. Poverty is here, and we struggle with it every day. We look after 24,000 people, and in the last 12 years, our association has helped more than 100,000 people.
His voice raises an accusation. If you think you've come to a concentration camp, you are not wrong. People are on the run because in this city there rages a war, which calls for daily sacrifice, the dead and injured. It is an undeclared war against the helpless, and all they can do is either fight it or die in the streets of Tana. He wanted to be a priest among the poorest. There he is. The richness of good is love.